Welcome to Whispered Tales, where we slow down, reflect deeply, and reconnect with ourselves. Today's message is about one powerful decision, restarting your life before 2026 ends. There comes a quiet moment in life when you realize something important. Nothing dramatic happens, no loud noise, no sudden change. It is just a feeling that sits heavy in your chest, a feeling that time is moving and you are standing still. Maybe you look at the calendar and realize how fast the years are passing. Maybe you think about the goals you once had, goals you promised yourself you would start next week, next month, or next year, and suddenly 2026 doesn't feel far away anymore. This is not a moment of fear. This is a moment of awareness. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late, but you are being called to wake up. Many people live on autopilot. They wake up, go to work, scroll on their phones, repeat the same routine, and fall asleep feeling tired but unfulfilled. Days pass, months pass, years pass, and deep inside they wonder, is this really my life? If you are listening to this right now, this message is for you. Restarting your life does not mean running away. It does not mean quitting everything overnight. It means deciding that you will no longer ignore your potential. It means choosing to stop surviving and start intentionally living. Before 2026 ends, you still have time. Time to change your habits. Time to change your thinking. Time to become someone you respect when you look in the mirror. The restart begins with one honest question. Am I living the life I truly want, or just the life I settled for? Take a deep breath. This is your moment. This is where change begins. One of the hardest but most freeing steps in restarting your life is accepting responsibility. Not with guilt, not with self-hate, but with honesty and strength. Many people avoid this step because they think responsibility means blaming themselves for everything that went wrong. But that is not true. Responsibility simply means recognizing where you are right now and understanding that your future is still in your hands. You may think about missed chances, poor decisions, or time you wasted. You may remember moments when you knew what to do but chose comfort instead. This realization can hurt, but it is also powerful. Because the moment you accept responsibility, you stop feeling like a victim of life and start feeling like a creator of your life. You realize that even if the past was messy, the next chapter is still unwritten. Many people spend years blaming circumstances, their job, their family, their past, their finances, or society. While these things can influence us, they do not define the rest of our lives unless we allow them to. When you accept responsibility, you are not saying everything is my fault. You are saying, from this moment forward, my actions matter.
This shift changes everything. It changes how you wake up in the morning. It changes how you use your time. It changes how you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, why is my life like this? You begin asking, what can I do today to move forward, even a little? Restarting your life before 2026 ends begins with this quiet promise to yourself. I will stop waiting for perfect conditions. I will stop waiting for motivation. I will take responsibility for my growth, my healing, and my future. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom, because once you accept it, no one else controls the direction of your life anymore. To restart your life, you must first understand something important. You cannot build a new life while holding tightly to an old identity that no longer serves you. Many people want change, but they also want to remain comfortable with who they have always been. This inner conflict keeps them stuck. Real growth begins when you accept that the version of you who made old choices cannot be the same version that creates a better future. The old version of you may be familiar. It may feel safe. It may be the version that avoids risk, delays decisions, and chooses comfort over progress. It may be the version that says, "I'll start tomorrow," or "This is just how I am." Letting go of that version can feel like losing a part of yourself, but in reality, you are not losing anything. You are evolving. Growth requires separation. Just like you outgrow old clothes, you outgrow old habits, old thinking patterns, and even old excuses. Holding on to them only keeps you trapped in the same cycle. When you decide to restart your life, you are making a brave choice to say, "I am allowed to change. I am allowed to become better." This does not mean hating your past self. That version of you survived. That version carried you through difficult times. Be grateful, but do not stay there. Honor the lessons, then move forward with intention. The future version of you is watching closely, hoping you will choose differently this time. Letting go also means releasing the need for validation from people who only know the old you. Some may not understand your growth. Some may feel uncomfortable with your change. That is okay. Your responsibility is not to remain the same for their comfort. Your responsibility is to become the person you know you can be. Before 2026 ends, give yourself permission to step into a new identity, one built on discipline, self-respect, clarity, and courage. The moment you let go of who you were, you create space for who you are meant to become. Restarting your life is not about changing everything on the outside first. It begins inside your mind. Your mindset is the foundation of every habit, every decision, and every action you take. If that foundation is weak, no external change will last. That is why rebuilding your mindset is one of the most important steps before 2026 ends. For a long time, you may have trained your mind to expect failure, delay, or disappointment. Maybe life did not turn out the way you imagined, and slowly, without noticing, you lowered your expectations of yourself. You stopped believing fully. You stopped trying with intensity. This does not mean you are lazy or incapable. It means your mind learned to protect you from pain by avoiding effort. But protection is not growth. A renewed mindset begins with awareness of your inner dialogue. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself when things get hard. Do you encourage yourself, or do you criticize yourself? Do you say, "I can learn this," or "I'm just not good at this"? These small thoughts shape your identity over time. To restart your life, you must replace self-doubt with self-respect. This does not mean blind positivity. It means realistic belief. It means understanding that progress is slow, discipline is uncomfortable, and setbacks are normal, but none of these are reasons to quit. A strong mindset accepts discomfort as part of the process and keeps moving forward anyway. Rebuilding your mindset also means choosing what you allow into your mental space. The content you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the people you listen to all influence how you think. If you want a new life, you must feed your mind differently. Less noise, less comparison, more focus, more intention.
This shift changes everything. It changes how you wake up in the morning. It changes how you use your time. It changes how you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, "Why is my life like this?" you begin asking,
What can I do today to move forward, even a little? Restarting your life before 2026 ends begins with this quiet promise to yourself. I will stop waiting for perfect conditions. I will stop waiting for motivation. I will take responsibility for my growth, my healing, and my future. Responsibility is not a burden. It is freedom. Because once you accept it, no one else controls the direction of your life anymore. To restart your life, you must first understand something important. You cannot build a new life while holding tightly to an old identity that no longer serves you. Many people want change, but they also want to remain comfortable with who they have always been. This inner conflict keeps them stuck. Real growth begins when you accept that the version of you who made old choices cannot be the same version that creates a better future. The old version of you may be familiar. It may feel safe. It may be the version that avoids risk, delays decisions, and chooses comfort over progress. It may be the version that says, "I'll start tomorrow," or "This is just how I am." Letting go of that version can feel like losing a part of yourself, but in reality, you are not losing anything. You are evolving. Before 2026 ends, decide to become mentally stronger than your excuses. Train your mind to work for you, not against you. Because once your mindset changes, your actions will follow, and your life will begin to reflect that change. Motivation is powerful, but it is also unreliable. It comes and goes, often disappearing the moment things become difficult or boring. If your entire restart depends on feeling motivated, you will eventually stop. That is why discipline is the real key to changing your life before 2026. Discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about making promises to yourself and keeping them even when no one is watching. It is about doing what needs to be done on days when you feel tired, unconfident, or uninspired. Discipline builds self-trust, and self-trust builds confidence. Many people wait to feel ready before taking action, but readiness is created through action, not before it. The disciplined version of you understands this. That version wakes up and takes one small step forward even when progress feels slow. Over time, these small steps compound into real change. Discipline also means simplifying your life. You do not need to overhaul everything at once. Start with one habit, one commitment, one daily action you can repeat consistently. When you keep showing up for yourself, your identity begins to shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone who quits and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. There will be days when you fail. That is normal. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about returning. Returning to your routine. Returning to your goals. Returning to the decision you made to restart your life. Each time you return, you strengthen your resilience. Before 2026 ends, focus less on feeling motivated and more on becoming consistent. Because consistency does not change your life overnight. It changes your life permanently. Restarting your life may sound overwhelming, but thousands of ordinary people do it every year. Not because they are special, but because they decide to change. Think about someone like Michael, a 34-year-old warehouse worker from Ohio. For years, he told himself he was too tired after work to improve his life. He spent evenings scrolling on his phone, feeling frustrated and stuck. One day, he realized that waiting for energy was costing him his future. He started waking up just 30 minutes earlier to study a new skill online. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't easy, but by the end of a year, his confidence, income, and self-respect had changed completely. Or consider Sarah, a single mother from Texas who believed her dreams were over because life became too busy.
She wanted to improve her English and communication skills, but felt embarrassed starting again as an adult. Instead of giving up, she practiced reading out loud every night after her child went to sleep. 10 minutes turned into 20. 20 turned into confidence. Eventually, she applied for a better job and got it, not because she was fearless, but because she was consistent.
These people were not lucky. They were not waiting for perfect conditions. They felt doubt. They felt fear. They felt tired. But they chose progress over comfort. Their restart did not happen in one moment. It happened in small, repeated decisions. You may look at others and think they are ahead of you, but remember, you do not see the quiet sacrifices they made when no one was watching. The early mornings, the uncomfortable learning phase, the days they wanted to quit but didn't. Before 2026 ends, understand this truth deeply. Ordinary people create extraordinary change by refusing to stay the same. Your background does not disqualify you. Your past does not define you. Your current situation is not your final destination. Your example could be the next one that inspires someone else. One of the most common reasons people never restart their lives is simple. They keep waiting. Waiting for the right time, waiting for more money, waiting for confidence, waiting for life to slow down. But the truth is, the right time almost never arrives. Life does not pause and create space for your dreams. You have to create that space yourself. Waiting feels safe because it protects you from failure. As long as you are waiting, you do not have to risk disappointment. But waiting also protects regret. Every month you delay is a month you will never get back. And one day, without realizing it, waiting becomes your lifestyle. Think about how many times you said, "I'll start next Monday," or "I'll focus on this next year." Those promises were not lies, they were hopeful intentions. But intention without action changes nothing. Action, even imperfect action, is what separates people who transform their lives from those who stay stuck. There is no perfect version of you coming in the future who will suddenly feel brave, confident, and ready. The version of you that takes action today, even while scared, is the version that becomes strong. Confidence is built through movement, not thought. Before 2026 ends, stop negotiating with time. Stop asking permission to begin. Start where you are with what you have and do what you can today. One step now is worth more than 1,000 plans later. When people think about restarting their lives, they often imagine massive changes, quitting jobs, moving cities, or completely reinventing themselves overnight. But real transformation rarely happens that way. It happens quietly, through small habits repeated every single day. These habits may seem insignificant at first, but over time, they shape your identity and your future. A small habit is something you can do even on your worst days. Reading one page, practicing English for 10 minutes, walking for 15 minutes, writing down one goal. These actions may not feel powerful in the moment, but they send a message to your brain: I am someone who shows up for myself. The problem is not that people aim too low. The problem is that they aim too high and quit too soon. When habits are too big, failure feels personal. But when habits are small, consistency becomes possible. And consistency is what builds momentum. Think about James, a 29-year-old from California who wanted to improve his communication skills but felt overwhelmed. Instead of forcing long study sessions, he committed to listening to English audio every morning during his commute. No pressure, no perfection, just consistency. After months of repetition, speaking became natural and confidence followed. Before 2026 ends, focus less on dramatic change and more on daily progress.
Your future is not built in one moment of inspiration. It is built in ordinary moments when you choose discipline over excuses. Small habits may feel slow, but they are unstoppable. Your environment shapes you more than your willpower ever will. Many people try to change their lives without changing what surrounds them, and then they wonder why they keep falling back into old patterns. If you truly want to restart your life before 2026 ends, you must pay attention to the spaces, people, and influences around you. Look at your daily environment. What do you see when you wake up? Is your phone the first thing you reach for? Are you surrounded by distractions that pull you away from focus and growth? These small details matter more than motivation because they quietly guide your behavior without asking for permission. Your environment also includes people. The conversations you have regularly shape your mindset. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, excuses, or fear, staying disciplined becomes much harder. This does not mean cutting everyone out of your life. It means becoming aware of who energizes you and who drains you. Growth requires protection. Even digital environments matter. What you watch, listen to, and scroll through influences how you think and what you believe is possible. If your feed is full of noise, comparison, and hopelessness, your mind absorbs it. Replacing even a small part of that with educational or motivational content can slowly shift your mindset. Before 2026 ends, design your environment to support the person you want to become. Remove unnecessary distractions. Create small systems that make good habits easier. You do not need more willpower, you need better surroundings. Every person who decides to restart their life carries some kind of pain. Pain from failure, pain from regret, pain from being misunderstood, pain from wasted time. Many people try to ignore this pain or escape it, but the truth is, pain does not disappear when you avoid it. It stays quietly inside, shaping your decisions and limiting your confidence. The real restart happens when you stop running from pain and start using it as fuel. Think about the moments that hurt you the most, the opportunities you missed, the times you felt stuck, the days you questioned your worth. Those moments did not happen to destroy you, they happened to teach you something about yourself. Pain has a purpose, but only if you are willing to listen instead of hiding from it.
There are people who let pain make them bitter, angry, and closed off from life. And then there are people who let pain make them wiser, stronger, and more focused. The difference is not the amount of pain they experienced, it is the meaning they gave to it. When you decide to restart your life, you are choosing to give your pain a new meaning. Consider someone like Daniel, a 41-year-old from Florida who spent years feeling ashamed of his past financial mistakes. Instead of facing them, he avoided responsibility and stayed stuck in the same cycle. One day, he realized his pain was not a punishment, it was a lesson. He started learning about money, budgeting, and discipline. Slowly, his past mistakes became the reason he was more careful, more aware, and more prepared than ever before. Pain also builds empathy. When you struggle, you understand others better. You become patient, you become grounded, you stop judging people so quickly. This emotional depth becomes a strength, not a weakness. Many successful, confident people are not confident because life was easy. They are confident because they survived difficult seasons and learned from them. Restarting your life before 2026 ends means making peace with your past instead of fighting it. You do not need to relive every mistake, but you do need to accept that it happened and decide how it will shape you moving forward. The past cannot be changed, but its impact on your future can. When you turn pain into purpose, something powerful happens. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I become because of this?" That question shifts your energy from victimhood to growth. It gives you direction.
Your pain can become your motivation. Your struggle can become your strength. Your past can become the foundation for a better future, but only if you choose to rise instead of retreat. Before 2026 ends, do not waste your pain. Use it. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you why you must keep going. Because the life you are building now is stronger precisely because of what you survived. If you truly want to restart your life before 2026 ends, you must accept one uncomfortable truth. Growth will not feel good at first. Change is rarely smooth or pleasant. It challenges your routines, your beliefs, and your sense of security. Most people do not fail because they are incapable. They fail because they quit the moment discomfort appears. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is changing. When you start waking up earlier, learning new skills, improving your English, or working toward a better version of yourself, your mind will resist. It will look for reasons to stop. It will remind you of how comfortable your old life was. This resistance is natural. It does not mean you should turn back.
Think about how muscles grow in the gym. They grow through tension and stress. The same principle applies to your mind and character. When you push yourself slightly beyond what feels easy, you expand your limits. When you avoid discomfort, you stay exactly where you are. Many people say they want success, confidence, and freedom, but they are not willing to feel awkward, tired, or uncertain along the way. They want the reward without the process. But the process is what transforms you. The uncomfortable moments, the early mornings, the self-doubt, the slow progress are shaping the person you are becoming. Consider Emily, a 26-year-old from New York who wanted to improve her public speaking and English fluency. Every time she practiced, she felt embarrassed and afraid of making mistakes. For months, she avoided it. Then she decided to face the discomfort instead of running from it. She practiced anyway. She made mistakes. She felt uncomfortable, and she grew. Today, she speaks with confidence, not because she was born talented, but because she stayed consistent through discomfort. Discomfort also teaches patience. In a world that demands instant results, learning to stay committed without immediate rewards is a rare skill. Progress often happens quietly, without applause or validation. When you continue anyway, you build inner strength. You become resilient. Restarting your life is not about dramatic motivation. It is about learning to sit with discomfort and keep moving forward. It is about understanding that the uncomfortable phase is temporary, but quitting makes it permanent. Before 2026 ends, stop asking how to make growth easier. Start asking how to become stronger. Learn to see discomfort as a teacher, not an enemy. Because the life you want exists on the other side of what you are currently avoiding. One of the biggest reasons people feel lost, unfulfilled, or pressured is because they are chasing a version of success that was never truly theirs. From a young age, many of us are taught what success is supposed to look like. A certain job title, a certain income, a certain lifestyle, a certain timeline. Over time, without questioning it, we begin measuring our worth against expectations that may not even align with who we really are. Restarting your life before 2026 ends requires a powerful reset in how you define success. Success is not one size fits all. For some, it may mean financial freedom. For others, it may mean peace of mind, confidence, better communication skills, or simply waking up without anxiety. The problem begins when you chase goals that impress others but leave you empty inside. That kind of success looks good from the outside but feels heavy on the inside. Many people feel like they are failing, not because they are doing poorly, but because they are playing the wrong game. They compare their behind-the-scenes struggles to someone else's highlight reel. Social media, conversations, and cultural pressure quietly convince them that they are behind in life. This comparison steals joy, clarity, and motivation. Redefining success means stepping back and asking yourself honest questions. What kind of life do you want to live? What values matter to you? What does a good day look like for you, not for anyone else? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are necessary. Without them, you will always be chasing someone else's dream. Think about Marcus, a 38-year-old from Illinois who spent years climbing the corporate ladder because it was expected of him. On paper, he was successful, but internally he felt burned out and disconnected from his family and himself. When he finally paused and redefined success, he realized it meant balance, health, and time, not just money. He made changes slowly, intentionally, and today his life feels aligned instead of exhausting. Redefining success also removes unnecessary pressure. When you stop trying to meet unrealistic timelines, you free yourself to grow at your own pace. Life is not a race. Everyone starts from different places with different resources and challenges. Comparing timelines only creates frustration and self-doubt. This does not mean lowering your standards. It means raising your awareness. It means choosing goals that energize you rather than drain you. It means pursuing growth that feels meaningful, not forced. Success can mean learning something new at 35. It can mean improving your English fluency so you can speak confidently. It can mean rebuilding your self-respect after years of self-doubt. These achievements may not be loud, but they are deeply powerful. When you redefine success, you also learn to appreciate progress instead of perfection. You stop waiting for everything to be complete before feeling proud of yourself. You start recognizing effort. You start respecting consistency. You start seeing how far you've come instead of obsessing over how far you still have to go. Before 2026 ends, give yourself permission to define success in a way that supports your mental health, your growth, and your long-term happiness. You do not need approval for the life you are building. You only need alignment.
When your goals reflect who you truly are, motivation becomes natural, discipline becomes easier, and your restart becomes sustainable. We all fear failure. It's one of the most primal fears we carry with us from childhood. We are taught from a young age that success is the ultimate goal, and anything that falls short of that is something to be avoided at all costs. But here's a truth that most people overlook. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is an essential part of success. If you truly want to restart your life before 2026 ends, you must embrace failure as a step forward, not a setback. Failure is often seen as a wall that blocks your path, but in reality, it is a door that opens to growth. Without failure, there is no true learning. When you succeed right away, you may feel proud, but you don't gain the wisdom that comes from struggle. Struggling, failing, and overcoming obstacles teach you lessons that success alone can never provide. Think about Sarah, a 32-year-old entrepreneur from Texas who started a business with big dreams but faced constant rejection, financial loss, and even moments of despair. At first, she saw failure as something personal, proof that she wasn't good enough. But after a few years of mistakes and hard lessons, she realized that each failure was a necessary step toward refining her vision, improving her strategies, and growing her resilience. Today, her business is thriving, not because it was easy, but because she failed forward. When you fail, you are given a unique opportunity to reflect. Why did things not work out as planned? What can you change in your approach? Failure gives you a mirror to see what didn't align with your actions, your mindset, or your strategies.
Instead of asking yourself why it didn't work out, ask yourself what can be done differently. The key to progress is not avoiding mistakes, but learning from them. One of the reasons people give up after failing is the belief that failure means they are not capable. But that is a lie. Failure is not an indicator of your worth. It is an indicator of your courage to try. When you decide to restart your life, you will fail. It's inevitable. But how you respond to failure determines whether it becomes a permanent barrier or a temporary obstacle. The most successful people in history have failed countless times. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series, was rejected by over a dozen publishers before her first book was accepted. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest players of all time. These people didn't just accept failure, they used it. They saw it as proof that they were pushing their limits, taking risks, and moving towards something bigger than themselves. Before 2026 ends, don't be afraid to fail. Welcome it. When you fail, you are one step closer to success. You are learning, adapting, and growing. The road to achievement is never straight, and it is rarely without bumps. But every time you get back up, you build the mental toughness and resilience necessary to keep going.
If you can shift your perspective on failure, you will begin to see setbacks as opportunities. Opportunities to innovate, opportunities to become better, opportunities to understand yourself and your dreams more deeply. The real danger is not failing, it's fearing failure so much that you stop trying. It's staying stuck in your comfort zone, avoiding risks because of what might happen. The greatest failure of all is the failure to try. Restarting your life is not about avoiding mistakes, it's about pushing through them. It's about realizing that each step, even if it's backward for a moment, is a part of the forward movement. If you don't fail, you're not trying hard enough. If you don't fail, you're not growing. The fear of failure keeps people stuck, while those who embrace it take bold steps toward their dreams. This doesn't mean being reckless, but it does mean being willing to risk discomfort and uncertainty for something greater. Walt Disney once said, "The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." But don't expect the road to be smooth. The road is often bumpy, filled with potholes, and requiring patience. Embrace it. So when you fail, as you inevitably will, remember that it's not the end of the road. It's simply a detour, a chance to learn, grow, and come back stronger than before. Each failure builds you into the person who can handle success when it comes, and it will come if you don't quit. When it comes to restarting your life before 2026 ends, one of the most underestimated yet most powerful tools at your disposal is consistency. In a world that loves quick results and instant gratification, consistency is often overlooked. People want transformation, but they want it to happen fast. They want overnight success. The truth, however, is that there is no such thing as overnight success. What we often see is the result of years of small, consistent actions that led to big changes. Most of us want to be the best, the most skilled, the most confident, the most successful, but very few are willing to do what it takes to get there consistently. Success isn't just about having great ideas or talent. It's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it, even when you aren't seeing results, and even when you are facing setbacks.
Think about Leo, a 30-year-old man from California who set out to improve his health and fitness. In the beginning, he went all out. He spent hours in the gym, cut out all junk food, and tried every trend. But after a few weeks, The excitement wore off. The results didn't come as quickly as he wanted. Frustrated, he wanted to quit. But instead, he chose a different path. Instead of trying to go all in at once, he shifted his approach. He started showing up to the gym 3 times a week, not obsessing over perfect workouts or food, but simply making it a part of his routine. Slowly, over the course of months, he started seeing results. Today, he is in the best shape of his life, not because he had some magical moment of inspiration, but because he was consistent. He made health a part of his life, not an event. Consistency is about building habits. Habits are what compound over time to create significant change. You don't need to be perfect every day, but you do need to show up every day. That is where true growth lies, in the seemingly small daily actions that compound into massive transformations. Think about how people improve their English fluency, for instance. It's not about spending hours cramming vocabulary for 1 week and then taking a break. It's about dedicating just a small amount of time every day, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, to practice. Consistent practice over time leads to fluency, not perfection in one single session. The mistake many people make when they decide to restart their lives is expecting dramatic change too soon. They try to overhaul everything at once, hoping for quick results, only to burn out and feel discouraged. But the truth is, long-lasting change happens incrementally. Small steps consistently taken are the secret to success. The power of consistency is also about creating systems, not relying on motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Some days you feel energized and ready to take on the world. Other days you feel like doing absolutely nothing. But if you've built a system that keeps you moving forward regardless of how you feel, you will make progress even on your hardest days. It's the system, not the motivation, that carries you through. Think about Angela, a woman in her 40s who wanted to learn to write and start a blog. At first, she had the motivation to write every day. She started strong, but after a couple of weeks, the excitement faded. She struggled with self-doubt and was often too tired after work. However, instead of relying on bursts of motivation, Angela built a system. She set aside 30 minutes every morning before her busy day started to write. Some days the writing came easily, other days it felt like pulling teeth, but every day she showed up. Over time, those 30-minute sessions turned into short articles, and those articles turned into a successful blog that reached thousands of readers. It wasn't her talent or brilliance, it was her consistency that got her there.
Consistency also helps you overcome the inevitable plateaus and struggles that come with any major change. In the early stages of any new goal, the progress is often slow and unclear. You might feel like you're working hard, but seeing very little return. But when you keep going, something magical happens. Those small efforts build up. What once felt like a struggle becomes a strength, and eventually you break through the plateau. The key is to keep going, even when the results aren't immediate. When you decide to restart your life before 2026 ends, you must commit to the process, not just the outcome. The journey will have ups and downs, but your ability to stay consistent is what will determine your success. One thing you need to understand is that consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up, even when things aren't perfect. You will have days when you fail. You will have days when you miss a workout, eat something unhealthy, or skip a writing session. That's okay. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up again the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that. Over time, these small actions will create massive change in your life. Consistency is the foundation on which all success is built. Without it, talent, ambition, and big goals are just dreams. But with consistency, even the smallest effort can lead to remarkable transformation. As we approach 2026, it's time to stop waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, or the perfect plan. Commit to showing up every day. Commit to the process. Commit to doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. Because success is not an event, it is a process. And consistency is the key to that process. In the journey of restarting your life before 2026 ends, there is one powerful force that will carry you through every obstacle, every setback, and every challenge: self-belief. Without belief in yourself, even the greatest ideas, dreams, and plans will falter. Self-belief is the foundation of everything. It is the fuel that propels you forward when times are tough, when the world feels like it's against you, and when you doubt your own abilities. The truth is, there will always be challenges. There will always be people who question your decisions, who doubt your potential, and who may even try to discourage you. But the one voice that will always be with you, and the one voice that matters the most, is your own. The strength to continue lies in your belief that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of success. Let me tell you a story about Tom, a man in his mid-40s who had spent most of his life in a job that didn't fulfill him. He was stuck, unmotivated, and had long since stopped dreaming. But one day, he came across an article that inspired him to start something new. He decided to take a leap, to go back to school, to get a degree in a field that truly excited him, and to build a career he was passionate about. The catch? He had no previous experience in that field, and most of his friends and family thought he was crazy. But Tom didn't listen to them. He believed in himself. It wasn't easy. There were many sleepless nights, and the self-doubt often crept in. He questioned whether it was too late for him to make such a drastic change. But every time that doubt surfaced, he reminded himself that if he didn't try, he would never know what was possible. He stuck with it. He learned, he adapted, and he grew. Today, Tom is not only thriving in his new career, but is also mentoring others who want to make a similar transformation. He never would have made it without that core belief in himself, the belief that it was never too late to start again and never too late to achieve greatness. But self-belief is not something that magically appears overnight. It's something that you have to build, brick by brick, each and every day. Self-belief comes from taking action, even when you don't feel ready, and even when things aren't perfect. It comes from pushing through the doubts, learning from your mistakes, and always trusting that you have the ability to grow. When you decide to restart your life, you will face moments of uncertainty. You will have days where you feel like you're not good enough or that your dreams are too big. It's in these moments that self-belief becomes essential. It's in these moments that you must trust yourself, even when the world may seem to be saying otherwise. Consider Emily, a woman in her late 20s who had always dreamed of becoming an artist. She spent years in a job that drained her, always thinking, one day I'll take the leap. But that one day never came. Her dream felt so distant, so impossible, until she realized that she was waiting for permission. She was waiting for someone or something to tell her it was okay to go after what she truly wanted. But one day, she made a choice. She decided to stop waiting for external validation and start believing in herself. She set aside a few hours each week to paint, despite her busy schedule. She learned to silence the voice of doubt that told her she wasn't good enough. Today, her artwork is featured in galleries and she's living her dream. It all began with that one decision to believe in herself.
Self-belief is about trusting your journey, even when others may not understand it. It's about knowing that you have the power to create change in your life and that no one else has the right to dictate your potential. Too often, we allow others' opinions or societal expectations to shape the way we see ourselves. We believe the limits others place on us and carry them as our own. But when you truly believe in yourself, those limits disappear. The world is full of people who didn't believe in themselves at first, people who didn't think they had what it took. Oprah Winfrey, for example, was told she was too emotionally unstable to be on television. Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he founded. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity. These people didn't let others define them, and they didn't let their early failures stop them. They kept going, fueled by a deep belief in their own vision, and that belief made all the difference. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about your own life. What is it that you truly want to accomplish? What are the dreams that you've been holding on to but haven't yet acted upon because you didn't think you were capable? What if I told you that the only thing standing between you and your success is your belief in yourself? What if instead of doubting yourself, you chose to trust that you have the ability to achieve anything you set your mind to? The key is to start. Start believing that you can do it, even if you don't have all the answers yet. Start with small actions, even if you don't know how it will all work out. The more you take action, the more your belief in yourself will grow. And with each step forward, you'll realize that you are capable of much more than you ever imagined. In the end, self-belief is the most important ingredient for success. It's not the talent you have, the education you've received, or the opportunities you're given. It's your belief in yourself that will take you the furthest. So, as you move toward restarting your life before 2026 ends, remember that the most important thing you can do is believe. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and believe that you have what it takes to make them a reality.